All right. Next up, we've got Stephen. Pronouns are he, him, in Texas. Is disgusted with how aggressively the family is trying to force Christianity and male circumcision on his newborn son. Oh, the caller has previously been Christian. Now that's like just before. Hello, Stephen, by the way. But before we get to you, I had to have a conversation with my wife's midwife about not circumcising my unborn son. I'm interested in what you've got to say, Stephen.
Well, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, it's a boy, and it's just been it's such a trip to be thinking about circumcision for the first time. I was circumcised and went so many years without even thinking about. Are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, so yeah, I just part of the conversations my wife and I were having once we found out we were having a boy was a circumcision, and we're former evangelicals, deconverted about 8 years ago, both of us, and in the last 5 years our family has just been getting more and more sort of aggressively evangelical, and we set some good boundaries to the point where they don't really preach to us much, but man, the last few months of my wife's pregnancy, they really kicked it into high gear, and they started sending us books that are just straight out of Sunday school talking about original sin and God watching you, and just daily calls about, are you gonna name him after something biblical? Are you gonna baptize him? Make sure that the doctor is Christian. If you use a nanny, make sure they're Christian. Even passively aggressively sort of suggesting that if we don't raise him in Christianity, that we're really setting him up for failure. He was just born 6 days ago. Sorry, it's been a rough week.
Well, congrats. So you said he's born already?
We talked. He was, he was born about a week ago. He's doing great. And
congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. When my wife and I started talking about circumcision, I hadn't really given it much thought because I just took it for granted that I was circumcised, and in my head everyone was. But I read that a growing number of people are choosing not to, and that the reasons to do it really aren't founded in much.
Right.
And we just basically discovered the best reasons people can give is either God says to do it, it's the way we've always done it, or there's this myth that it is unsanitary. And my wife's OB cleared that up for us, and she said, look, it takes an extra few seconds to clean in the shower, but it's just about self-care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
the benefits of having one
really hit
as
me
well.
For the first time that I would.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was just saying, and the benefits of actually having an intact penis as well is I'm fortunate. I'm from a country where circumcision only happens in medical emergencies. There are occasions when people are born with a restrictive foreskin, and so it needs to be removed. But the majority of people, as far as I'm aware, and I haven't been around looking, but as far as I'm aware, all in the UK have their foreskin. I am one of those people. I was born with my foreskin, and it was never taken away from me. So it's difficult for me because I've always been in the privileged position of not having to ever worry about it until I moved to this country. I now live in the USA, and I'm having my wife is pregnant with a boy, and will be giving birth in a few weeks. And now we also have to have this conversation because my wife is also a non-believer, so she stepped away. But I think because she's been taught about circumcision, there was like a moment where she would go, is this something we do? I know you have yours. How does it work? She's never owned a foreskin, so she's she had lots of questions. Fortunately, she's been with someone that has an intact penis, and so now knows that it's very easy to keep it clean, and it is beneficial when it comes to later on in life, and you use it as a sexual pleasure device, that having it is actually a benefit rather than not. So that's me bragging, by the way. I'm sorry. So yeah, it's a difficult one because yeah, man, what would you say, Jim?
You'd better have a damn good reason to mutilate your child.
Yeah, there you go. That'll do it.
That's essentially what you're doing.
Yeah,
the only reason it's a thing is because it's in some book people think is holy. That's the only reason to do it, except for the medical stuff that John mentioned. Why are you going to mutilate your child? That makes no sense to me. But it's your kid. Maybe you should wait until he figures out what he wants to do with his penis.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't have kids. I don't plan on having kids. So I don't have much to say about that part of it, other than why would you want to mutilate your child in the first place?
Right.
Yeah, and it was really eye-opening for me to think about my own body for the first time and to realize that I didn't have a say in that. Right. And if you go online and you look up the little tray they use to circumcise in the hospitals, I mean, they're essentially strapping the little boys down, and they say it's, pain-free and won't traumatize them. But, it just seemed to me like there was no benefit to it. And I'm just really disgusted with how easily, my family and also just Christian friends, it's almost automatic that they'll say, "Oh, your little boy's doing well. That's great. Did you circumcise him?" And it's such a personal question to be asking. And I don't understand why they're so obsessed with that piece of it.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things we're not comfortable with being social animals is telling people it's none of their fucking business.
Right.
Get your nose out of my business. And since you're in Texas, these are probably conservatives. And so you can throw that back at them and go, "Oh, yeah. You know what? I can make my own decisions. I'm an independent Texan. So fuck right off and stop doing it." Now you do it that way, and obviously you're probably going to lose your family. But I mean, dealing with family is never easy. I've said it before. I am not out to my family because I don't see any way for that conversation to go well. But I think that if I was in your situation, I would be setting hard boundaries with my finger over the delete your numbers and put you on permanent block for everything until my kid turns 18 and he can make his own decisions.
Right.
And that'd be one threat, and then it'd be done if they crossed it. It sounds like you set some boundaries, but now you're in a situation where your parents, let's kind of look at it from their point of view, right? Let's put our Christian hats back on for a moment and look at it from their point of view. This is a brand new child who can't make decisions for themselves, and this is why they're pushing so hard all of a sudden. They have nothing but, and under that circumstances, I don't see how parents who will love their grandchild don't stop pushing.
Right.
That's kind of the problem you're up against, right?
Yeah.
And will they feel any differently about their grandson if he still has his foreskin? Will they not love the child if he still has an intact penis?
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think over time that issue will go, on the back burner. But I guess the overarching theme of the call is just this aggressive push to get inside the mind of a child and affect their bodies in a way, that aligns with their beliefs. I'm preaching to the choir. I understand that, but I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate it. No,
and hear your thoughts.
That's what we're here for. So, man, I think just keep doing what you're doing, and we're not here to give advice on this sort of thing, but just to like echo. This is our feelings and our thoughts on it. But I just keep doing what you're doing, and tell them, like Jim says, piss off. This is my kid. This is not your kid. Let's ask him at 21 whether or not he wants to have his foreskin removed. The chances are the kid's going to say no.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that he's born, he's perfect the way he is. He's absolutely
perfect. Of course he is. and just encourage them to read up to the part where God takes the foreskins if they have to read the Bible. And if they don't read it, then they won't think about it. There you go. That's terrible advice. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I hope like,
well,
let us
I'll
know.
let you go. I really
come back.
appreciate both of you and what you do.
There's no worries. Come back and let us know how it's going, because
I will.
maybe
Thank you.
eventually they will start going, you know what, actually we don't, how our grandson's penis is doesn't affect the love we have for him. So, you know, let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks,
Absolutely.
Stephen. Good luck. Good luck. I'm in the same boat with my son's penis. So
Thanks.
there we go. Thanks. Have a good one.